What you got to tell these people?
Back. Back, Jack.
You feel me? Ain't no cap in it.
No cap in my rap.
You feel what I'm saying?
The right way.
It's time.
Right way, bro.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right way.
Yeah.
We're the matching on the island doing what we do. Yeah.
Like gang it on bang.
That on banging little bitty.
All y'all little niggas traded.
Two buses belonging to the entourage for rapper Lil Wayne came under gunfire. Prosecutors say a simmering rap feud and gang tensions led to it.
Gunna's life might be in danger sounds crazy, but that's what people are saying on the streets. Rumor has it, even Lil Wayne is supposedly warning him. You're probably wondering why Lil Wayne would know about this, right? Well, it's not that hard to figure out. Lil Wayne almost got killed by Young Thug back in 2016, and now the word is, Gunna might be next. This whole situation's sketchy as hell, and if these rumors are true, Gunna better watch his back.
We're the matching on the island doing what we do. Yeah. Like on bang, gang on banging little bitty.
All y'all little niggas traded.
Let's break this down. Back in 2022, Gunna supposedly snitched on Young Thug by taking an Alfred plea. That move made him look like he picked freedom over loyalty, at least to a lot of fans. People saw it as him turning his back on Thug, choosing to save himself instead of sticking by his people.
The streets are so atrocious. Young Thug told everybody that Gunna was a snitch. I'm telling you this, I don't give a f if you believe me. That's what he sent to. Or he sent a message to Dirk. There's a few other rappers, I just won't call their names. Just because some of them just told me in privacy. All of them rappers start not with Gunna, speaking out, they're chilling away.
Ever since then, there's been non-stop talk about how Gunna's move was a major betrayal of Young Thug. Now that Thug's out still under house arrest, though people are starting to wonder if Thug is really gonna let everything slide. Let's take a step back. Back in May 2022, both Gunna and Thug got caught up in the massive 50s. Gunna, with his lawyer Steve Sada, struck a plea deal that got him out by December of that year. Thug, however, stayed locked up until his plea deal was finalized in late October 2023. Even though Gunna and his lawyer were quick to deny the snitching rumors, it didn't matter. No amount of legal talk could erase the stain. The moment Gunna walked out of jail, his image, these words carry a ton of weight, especially in a culture where loyalty is sacred, something that gets tested when you choose freedom over your people. In the eyes of many, Gunna went from rap star to certified rat.
They got a lot of gunners in this sewer. We in New York City. I see about 3 gunners right now. One just went under the sewer.
Oh my goodness.
One just went under the sewer.
Sure, Gunna got his freedom back, but that release came with a whole new set of problems. In this world, loyalty is everything, and for a lot of people, his plea deal looked like a straight-up betrayal. Suddenly, everyone was questioning if Gunna threw Thug under the bus just to save himself. The snitch label isn't new for him either. He's been dealing with rumors about his loyalty for a while.
That's why it's come back to that street word, snitch. No one's want to be labeled as a snitch. I don't want to tell on him because somebody might try to come me or someone in my family.
Things got even messier when big-name rappers like Freddie Gibbs and even Gunna's own peers like Lil Baby, 21 Savage, and Lil Durk started hinting that his plea deal might have actually hurt Thug's case. Instead of Gunna's release feeling like a win, it started to look more like a shady escape, one that was tainted by doubt and fallout. People began questioning if his freedom came at the expense of Thug's future.
You believe that Gunna told?
I don't sit up and play games, man. That man told you should have went in there and kept your mouth closed. I never I'm following. I don't know. I never why I didn't. I don't know. I just don't take it.
The whole YSL racketeering case went down in 2022, and Gunna's been fighting to defend himself ever since. He argues that people don't understand the legal details and are too quick to judge him without knowing the facts. But with new developments in the case, those old rumors about him snitching have flared up again. During court proceedings, Gunna had to admit to a list of statements from the prosecution, including one big claim that YSL is both a music label and a gang, and that Gunna knew members of YSL had committed crimes to further the gang's activities. His sentence got cut to just the time he'd already served, along with 4 more years suspended and 350 hours of community service aimed at educating youth about the dangers of gang life. But by then, the damage to his reputation was already done. Gunna worked hard to make it clear he didn't betray anyone. He explained that he took the Alfred plea to resolve his RICO case, acknowledging his YSL affiliation, but maintaining his innocence. He insisted he wasn't flipping on Thug or anyone else, emphasizing that the plea was the best way to get out of jail without admitting guilt. His lawyer, Steve Sada, jumped on social media to shut down snitch rumors, saying that Gunna did not cooperate with the authorities and that his plea statement couldn't be used against any other defendant. But now, with Thug out on Halloween after securing his own plea deal, people are buzzing about whether Thug will actually forgive Gunna. There are whispers that Lil Wayne allegedly warned Gunna about just how far Thug might go if he feels betrayed. And honestly, this talk isn't coming out of nowhere. Back in 2015, Thug's close associate, Pee Wee Roscoe, was arrested for allegedly shooting up Lil Wayne's tour bus outside a concert venue in Atlanta. That case turned into a major deal and put everyone on edge about what Thug might do if he feels crossed.
2 buses belonging to the entourage for rapper Lil Wayne came under gunfire. Prosecutors say a simmering rap feud and gang tensions led to it.
Pee Wee Roscoe, aka Jimmy Carlton Winfrey, faced a massive 27 charges, including RICO violations, aggravated assault, and criminal damage to property. He ended up taking a plea deal, which landed him a hefty 10-year sentence. But in a twist, that sentence was thrown out in 2018 after it was revealed that the judge pressured him by threatening a harsher sentence if he didn't take the plea. Fast forward to now, Pee Wee Ray entered a guilty plea, agreeing to 2 counts under the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. This time, prosecutors dropped all other charges, and he got a 7-year sentence, with credit for time already served. According to Gunna's lawyer, Steve Sada, Pee Wee could be released soon. The original indictment in the case had made a bold claim that Young Thug and Birdman were part of a plot to shoot up Lil Wayne's tour bus. Though neither Thug nor Birdman were ever charged, the accusation added a dark layer to the feud between Thug and Wayne. Now, with all the speculation around Gunna's plea deal and Thug's release, that old tension is flaring up again. People are wondering how Thug is going to handle Gunna now that he's out. Will he forgive him, or will this bad blood explode? On November 9th, Thugger couldn't help but throw some shade. He posted a cryptic tweet aimed at Gunna, "Going to stop acting like we friends on the internet. I don't know you, my guy." It didn't take long for Thug to delete it, but by then, the damage was already done. The tweet spread like wildfire across social media, and Gunna's brother DP quickly jumped in to respond, adding fuel to the fire. This subtle yet pointed message from Thug only deepens the speculation that the tension between him and Gunna is far from over, and it's clear that things could get ugly fast. The Shade Room's comment section has only added more fuel to the fire, making it clear that Gunna's camp isn't exactly feeling the friendly vibes either. Gunna's brother, DP, quickly fired back with a comment that stirred up even more rumors and speculation about whether there's any chance of reconciliation. Thug hasn't explained his now-deleted tweet, but it's clear his next move will speak volumes. He's gearing up to work with Lil Baby, who's made it pretty clear that he's been distancing himself from Gunna since his release. That's a clear sign of which side Baby's on in this mess. Thug even tweeted out, "Wham, let's drop one on these rats, Peter," which many fans took as a hint about an upcoming collaboration with Lil Baby. Fans can't stop speculating about what this all means for Thug and Gunna's relationship, which has clearly taken a serious hit. While Gunna is still technically under contract with YSL Records, he's been mostly silent about his relationship with Thug. Fans are left to read between the lines of every tweet, every collaboration, and every headline, trying to figure out where things really stand. Reactions to Thug's recent tweets have been all over the place. Some fans are loving his unfiltered return and are hyped to see him back, while others are side-eyeing the obvious tension between him and Gunna. Whatever happens next, it's clear that the divide is deep, and any chance of reconciliation might be slim to none, but not everyone is on board with Thug's post-release actions. Some fans are questioning why his first moves after being freed weren't focused on thanking his family, his legal team, or even connecting with his supporters. Instead, his immediate focus seems to be on stirring up drama, which has left some people disappointed. They feel Thug could have used this fresh start to uplift younger generations, or share the wisdom he's gained from his time behind bars. Instead, he's diving straight into conflict, which some see as a missed opportunity. Thug was handed a 15-year probation sentence by Judge Paige Whitaker, allowing him to walk free, but fans are already wondering if he'll end up back in trouble sooner than later, especially if he keeps pushing the boundaries of his probation. His release came with a strict list of rules: no violent lyrics, no gang references in his music, and he's banned from stepping foot in Atlanta for the next 10 years, among other conditions. DJ Academics, always vocal about the biggest stories in hip-hop, weighed in with some strong opinions on the terms of Thug's release. He pointed out how surprising it was that Thug even got a deal like this in the first place. Nobody saw it coming. While it's obviously a win for Thug, Academics feels that the conditions on his freedom come with a major catch. It's like he got a second chance, but with so many strings attached, the real question is whether he can actually stay out of trouble under these tight restrictions.
I think Thug got a tremendous deal. Like, we could have never expected something like this to happen. However, it's kind of a trick.
Academics compared Thug's release to what happened with another YSL member who struck a similar deal, only to end up back behind bars shortly after. For him, the conditions of Thug's release feel like a trap, where even the smallest slip-up could send him right back to prison. The strict rules: no violent lyrics, no gang mentions, staying out of Atlanta, make it seem like Thug has to walk a tightrope, with the smallest mistake potentially leading to serious consequences. So, while it looks like freedom, it's clear there's a lot at stake, and Thug might find himself back in hot water.
The possibility of you taking 15 with all these stipulations is kind of to set you up, but it's probably nothing that is gonna ever equate freedom. So Young Thug right now being free, that's the biggest. I know some of his fans think he beat the case. He definitely didn't beat the case. Beat the case means you got no stipulations.
He even brought up NBA YoungBoy's situation, where, while on probation, he faced tough restrictions on who he could associate with, especially when it came to touring. The courts banned him from being around anyone tied to gangs, which made live performances a nightmare. YoungBoy's team had to arrange police escorts, just to make sure he didn't accidentally violate those terms while performing. It was a huge challenge, showing how difficult it can be to navigate probation when you're in the public eye, surrounded by people who could put you at risk of a violation. The comparison highlights just how tricky Thug's situation could get, especially if he's trying to get back into the spotlight while sticking to the strict rules of his release.
The possibility of you taking 15 with all these stipulations is kind of to set you up, but it's probably nothing that is gonna ever equate freedom. I know some of his fans think he beat the case. He definitely didn't beat the case. Beat the case means you got no stipulations.
Academics also pointed to Tekashi 6ix9ine as another example of how tough it is for artists to stay within the boundaries of legal conditions while staying in the spotlight. He warned that for Thug, even breaking the smallest rule could send him right back to jail, just like Tekashi and other artists who struggled with similar probation restrictions. Academics also brought up Meek Mill's situation, where his complex probation setup became a trap full of drug tests, endless check-ins, and strict rules that led to repeated violations over minor issues. According to Academics, Thug's initial decision to avoid a plea deal might have been his way of trying to dodge these very restrictions, knowing that the conditions could make his freedom feel just as confining as being locked up. Academics broke down his thoughts on Thug's release, calling it both a victory and a trap waiting to spring. He pointed out that with all the intense probation conditions, it's almost like Thug has to walk a tightrope for the next 15 years just to stay out of trouble. He'll be under constant surveillance, with strict rules that mean he can't set foot in Atlanta, can't associate with anyone linked to gangs, and can't make music that even remotely hints at anything gang-related. And according to Academics, That's a huge challenge for Thug since his music has always been deeply tied to his life and relationships. With these kinds of limits, it's going to be hard for him to navigate his career without stepping on a landmine.
The Young Thug thing is a win, but it's also a huge setup. If you gonna tell me that they're gonna monitor him on a probationary basis for 15 years, can't communicate with co-defendants or gang members, he can't rap about, he can't promote any music that has to do with what they believe is gang activity.
Academics even imagined how something as simple as Thug saying, "Me and my people are going out," could end up getting flagged as gang-related, suggesting that the rules might be so strict that even casual statements could put him in trouble. He told fans they should be happy for now, especially since anyone who followed the trial saw how much it took a toll on Thursday. His appearance changed visibly, he gained weight, which is unusual for him, showing just how deeply the whole ordeal affected him. But academics warned fans to watch closely as this unfolds, hinting that while Thug may have his freedom for now, it comes with serious limits. With all the restrictions hanging over him, the slightest misstep could lead to major consequences, and it's clear that Thug's freedom may be a lot more fragile than it appears.
My was going through it. Like, he gained a lot of weight. Everybody knows Thug was not that weight, so we happy he got out, but we definitely got to be very cognizant of how this to play out.
Academics also pointed out that Thug's release isn't exactly a win for hip-hop, as it came at a heavy cost in terms of artistic freedom. He even described the situation as a revolving door, saying, "We lost Dirk and got Thug back," suggesting that there's always some artist tangled up with the legal system. For academics, this isn't the victory fans think it is. Because Thug paid a big price, prosecutors combed through Thug's entire catalog, reading out lyrics about guns, drugs, and violence in court, putting his art under in. And while Thug is free now, he's lost 2 to 3 years of his life, as well as the creative freedom that once defined his music. Academics warned that Thug's fans might need to brace for a reality check. Those celebrating his release now might not be so happy when they realize he can't make the kind of music he did before without the themes that originally drew fans in, like Slat and Slime Gang. Thug's music is likely to feel very different now, and that could change how fans feel about his return. So, while it's great to see Thug out, academics doesn't see it as a clear win for hip-hop. It's a comeback, but one that comes with major limitations.
Every fan that was like, yo, yeah, I'm glad he got out. He can't rap about no slime no more. He can't rap about no gang no more. So you gonna be cool with that, or?
He also mentioned that some people close to the case believe one of the main reasons Thug was released was his heartfelt speech in court, where he seemed to show his true self and expressed real remorse for anything he might have done wrong. So, while it's definitely a victory to see Thug free, academics and others are skeptical that his journey from here is going to be smooth sailing. The road ahead could be rocky, especially with all the conditions tied to his release and the pressure to adjust his music and behavior. Even though Thug's out, the challenges he faces now might be just as tough as the time he spent behind bars.
Take full responsibility for, my crimes or my charges. I want to say sorry to my family, my mom.
In that powerful moment, Thug really laid it all out, speaking straight from the heart and making a real connection with everyone in that courtroom. He showed genuine remorse, saying he had learned from his past mistakes and was truly hoping for a chance to prove himself, to go home and make things right. He even lightened the mood a bit, joking about how he'd prefer to only see the judge again at a bar far away from any courtroom setting, making it clear he was done with situations like this for good. Thug opened up about coming from humble beginnings, building his life from the ground up, but now deeply regretting not fully appreciating what he had achieved. He apologized to everyone in that room, expressing gratitude for the fairness they'd shown throughout his trial. He even acknowledged the effort made by both sides of the case, recognizing the hard work and stress they'd gone through because of him. His apology wasn't just about saying the right words. It was a real moment of vulnerability that seemed to resonate deeply with the jury. It was a side of Thug that few had seen before, and it played a big part in shaping the outcome of his case.
Hope that you allow me to go home today and just trust in me. to just do the right thing and never see you again unless it's, bar in the future. I've learned from my mistakes. I come from nothing and I've made something and I didn't take full advantage of it. I'm sorry.
Then, in a final heartfelt appeal, Young Thug reminded the judge of all the positive contributions he'd made to his community over the years. He explained that if he were released, he would return to helping those in need, especially in underserved areas that rely on financial aid. His promise to go back to his community painted a picture of a man genuinely committed to making a difference, if given the chance. To really understand the weight of that plea deal, you have to consider the gravity of the moment. Thug was staring down a harsh sentence and putting everything on the line. Initially, the state was pushing for a hefty 45-year sentence with 25 years to serve. But Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, wasn't about to let that happen. Steele fought hard to negotiate a unique plea deal, a no-low contender which would allow the judge to set the sentencing terms without Thug admitting guilt. Right before the deal could be finalized, the state threw out one last high-stakes offer. Thug could actually walk free that very day, but only if he admitted that YSL was a gang. This was the moment where everything hinged on his decision, and it was a gamble that could either secure his freedom or lead to a much longer sentence. Thug was faced with a critical decision: admit that YSL was a gang and give up information on 8 other members facing charges, or refuse and risk a much harsher sentence. It was a line Thug refused to cross. He wouldn't turn on his friends or compromise his reputation, so he rejected the deal entirely. In a major gamble, his lawyer, Brian Steele, chose to reject the state's plea offer and instead went with a no-low contender plea, where Thug pled no contest to some charges while admitting guilt on others. Thug made it clear he wanted to end the ordeal there, even though the trial could have dragged on for another 3 months. His priority was his family. He didn't want his kids to keep waiting, suffering through months of uncertainty. The weight of knowing they were desperate to see him was too much to bear, so he agreed to the plea. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for, the judge's final verdict, announcing Thug's release from jail. The room filled with relief and even joy. Thug's lawyer, in a post-hearing interview, shared how Thug felt an overwhelming sense of relief at finally being free after such a long journey. The news spread quickly through the hip-hop world, and rapper 42 Dugg summed up the mood, saying he'd always felt there were forces working to keep Thug locked up for good. But thanks to Brian Steele, one of the best in the game, they couldn't hold Thug down. It was a hard-fought battle, but in the end, Thug walked free.
If you think it's being mishandled,
I think it should have been dismissed. With the judge that just
that just happened.
Crazy, like trying to send his lawyer to jail.
Doug's reaction mirrored what Boosie had once said about Yingwie Melly's case. When the feds target a rich, famous rapper, they often try to find any way to keep them locked up. But not this time. This time, Thug walked free. After all the drama and legal battles, fans are now just hoping Thug stays low-key and avoids getting into any more trouble. The spotlight might still be on him, but the hope is that he'll keep his head down and focus on rebuilding his life without letting anything drag him back into the chaos that almost cost him